Rezo Van John, your top 5 TV dads. When a bounty hunter's 2 kids accidentally hitch a ride into outer space and crashes his latest mission, they discover that their dad's job is anything but boring. Dodging aliens and lasers and fights, this family's bonding time goes to the extreme. That is the Google synopsis of My Dad, the Bounty Hunter, also known as My Black Dad is a Bounty Hunter.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Netflix. You're welcome.
If you don't know, now you know. For everything we do a 1 sentence review. Since it's Black History Month, Jason, go ahead and give us your 1 sentence review.
Man, that black dad need to get the belt for these damn heathens.
Damn it, you stole mine. Lisa.
Lying parents and kids who don't listen in space.
And for me is sometimes it's okay to spank your kids.
Hell yeah.
These kids. Kids were...
Now,
let's start with Lisa.
Oh
yeah. Lisa, whose kids are like the best, by the way. So
I have been blessed with amazing kids. So anytime I see stuff like this, I am like, I could never.
Throw the whole baby
ever.
Please, I turn into like black dad. I'd be like, I look at my kids like, I bet not ever like that. My black dad get you.
He's sitting here grounding his kids because he's watching this show.
right.
They're so sassy. They got sassy mouth. They talk back. They don't fucking listen. They're disrespectful to their parents. They're disrespectful to their grandma. Like, I cannot. Like, I compared them to the kids in Are We There Yet? And those kids in Are We There Yet are bad.
That's when Ice Cube lost his gangsta card. They're like, we can go ahead and take that from you, Ice. Thank you.
Listen, the kids over there that are so bad. And then there was another one where the kids were so bad. Johnson Family Vacation, where they're just like throwing their dad's CDs out the window, and I was like, oh my god. But anyway,
his black card, so he's still good.
Yeah, this show, which I understand it's a trope. You keep secrets from your family, like Spy Kids. My parents are these badass humans. They don't tell anyone. And I just feel like it could have all been solved if they would have just been upfront with their kids. And at the end, spoiler alert, just so y'all know, when you find out that like the mom is an alien and he rescued her and everything. So like she knew the whole time, and I'm just like that doesn't make sense. And if you knew the whole time, then you should have been making excuses for him instead of kind of letting your kids think that he's a deadbeat dad. I don't know. It just, I understand what they were doing. It had funny parts when the kid, what's his name? Sean? Is his name Sean?
Sean, yeah.
And he was just like, I am walking, and the robot's like, why are you talking like that?
There were some crazy
gems. There were some gems in there. I was laughing so hard at that. And then, and especially when the mom's like, telling the whole story, and they're like, you're an alien, and she's like, that's all you got from that? And like, yeah, that's all I got from that story too, is you're an alien. And
yes,
yeah, it had some hidden gems, but like, damn, these kids, like, they just they made everything so much harder than needed to be. Like, so much harder than needed to be. But the one chick, I don't know her name, but the one that like was the bounty that he was going after.
Vax.
That's her name, Vax?
Yep, Vax.
Okay. She was they made her so pretty, and I loved her.
Chung.
Oh, nice.
That's why she's pretty, because she's
yeah, she is. So,
I'll admit, when you were doing that, I was like, are you trying to say she's hot, or just she played a good role, or? But I get it. You were saying she's hot. She's all of those things. Got it.
It's good. Animated. James watched it a little bit with me, and he's like, oh yeah, she kind of has like an Ahsoka vibe. And I was like, yeah, she does. You're right. That's probably why I think she's so good.
Yeah.
So, because I think Asaka is just...
Is it bestiality to want to have sex with an alien?
No.
Yes.
They're humanoid. They're humanoid. It's fine.
Agree to disagree then, Jason.
They have... So, yeah. That's it. Give it a watch. I see what they're doing. I get it. It wasn't my favorite. And I think if I would have watched this before Moon Girl, I probably would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, me too.
I think I made a mistake by watching Moon Girl first. And so I was very hard on it, but it did have a lot of very funny moments. It's a cute cartoon.
You mind if I jump in next, Jason?
Jump right on in there, Jason.
All right. So
be my guest, sir.
Here's one of those things. So when we review things, because I realized that when we watch so much stuff and so much content, we review a lot of things. I'm starting to get these finite rules for myself. So when I review things, that like, hey, if your show is going to be predictable, at least make it fun and enjoyable. If it's going to be predictable, this show is very predictable, 100% predictable. You can see everything coming a mile away. You knew the convict chick was actually going to be a good, like you see it all. That's the problem with this. Is not that it's predictable. It's that it's not fun while being predictable. Yeah, the wings the best in the universe. That's a great thing to have. That's fun, and it really goes nowhere because that could have been set anywhere. It didn't really matter, except for like to get the kid to go to the bathroom. But again, he could just eat bad food at any rest stop and had the same. So why make this big deal about the wings being the best in the universe, where it means nothing? And it's a lot of that stuff going on in this movie, where they set things up to be a thing, and then it's no payoff for it. It's just, we just said that to say it. Now, if this is because you're going to, let's say by season 3, we're going to be in this bigger universe and all these things make more sense, then cool, but you don't know if you're going to get another season. So having this stuff in it is useless, like the Chilligan place, whatever, that's supposed to be the happiest place in the universe. And you find out the underbelly is kind of crazy. Or I guess we could say, we're doing spoilers. Like it's some slave labor type of bullshit going on. Yeah. That's cool and all, but it's almost like, again, that place is still going to run. Like it's still, like, I don't know. So right. Like it just felt like a lot of things in here were just in there because they were trying to get cool stuff in there because it was so predictable, but it just wasn't really that cool. I hate, and everybody who's watched the show long enough to know, I hate the bad kid trope. I think the bad kid trope is something that we just throw out. I'm just going to start now saying lazy writing whenever I see this now, because that's what it is. It's lazy writing because you're manufacturing conflict. Like, they're supposed to be eventually the heroes of your story. Don't make me hate them. Like, it's one thing if I'm watching Cannon Buster or Blast and dude stinks and I hate him. Okay, cool.
The show stinks and you hate him.
Guy. Yeah. He's an unlikable guy. I'm supposed to hate him. But don't make these kids something I hate because they're undisciplined and they're bad and they don't listen and literally tells you don't touch something and you touch it anyway. And then when he does it and you yell at him, then you try to feel bad for him because he got a whacked out eye because of stress. I don't care. Don't touch it.
Yes.
No, that's what happens if you don't touch it. Like it's so stay on the ship and then you're wandering around. Like it's just so much of like they could have created, because they made the girl, I think it was Lisa was her name, right?
Lisa,
yeah, Lisa.
They made her so intelligent and above her age that I'm like, oh, that's something interesting you can work with, because remember she was good with a shot when I had her at the amusement park and she seemed to be able to figure things out pretty quickly. Make it so that it was something that was going to happen to their father, but since they were unused to his bounty hunter lifestyle, where he maybe could have handled it, but in her mind, it's like, oh no, they're about to ambush him. We got to help. Like made situations where they had to get off the ship and do things. So it sets up that they have this kind of almost heroic moral compass. Instead, they gave it this moral compass, but it was in direct contradiction and reflection of her father. Yeah, and it doesn't work because you know what job he does. We all know bounty hunters' job isn't about doing the right thing and being the police. Their job is about getting the people that are going to pay them. And you understand that, and you went along with it and still thought it was cool. But then as soon as it came to like something you didn't agree with, now it's no, he can't do his job. Like it just, she was built too smart to have that kind of feelings.
As soon as the alien was hot, it's when everybody's like, "Oh, she's a good guy." Nah, right. She's pretty. Nah.
Right. Well, she ain't ugly. She ain't an ugg bug, so she got to be a good guy. And then also, my last thing is, if you're gonna rip off Ben 10 and do a Vilgax, make that dude actually a beast. That dude sucked. That they had it. That was his former partner. Like,
Warlocks,
yeah,
played
yeah,
by
like
Rob
make
Riggle.
yeah, like again, if you're gonna rip off Ben 10, at least make the Joker as good as the original that you ripped off. But all right, again, I didn't hate it too. I actually enjoyed a lot of pieces of it.
I didn't hate
Black
it.
Family, but I'm like you.
Yeah.
I hated the fact that they make this. They got to be separated crap, and I know that at the end they try to play it off that he did the separation because he felt blah 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 blah. But
Stupid.
you can imagine my disappointment when I found out that they weren't together. It's like, oh, we're not going to get a strong black family. It's just this separation thing. Anyway, I still did enjoy it. There's a lot of cool parts. That the fight scene at the end when it's like the whole all family, let's get it on. That
grandma was in there.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this kind of redeems a lot of this show for me because that was really awesome. But
yeah, I agree. The last episode. Sorry, Jason. I know you haven't had a turn yet, but I think that the last episode really did. I think that's kind of what they were going for, or what I think that they should have gone for the whole time, especially because you really kind of see how badass his boss was the whole time. He's like basically the T-1000, and like how are you gonna stop him? And then you get to see how badass the mom was, and I think that was the other thing is like that I was so disappointed in that, especially because they weren't together, because the mom was a badass in her own right, maybe even more badass than the dad. But she's the one who stops her career to take care of the kids, and I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah,
and like that
an alien.
Like that doesn't make any sense. Like it didn't make any sense. And there are other ways. There are plenty of other ways for them to get what they wanted without having to do those things. There are plenty of other ways to get the kids out in outer space without having to make them assholes. There are plenty of other ways for the husband and wife to be not maybe estranged, but like strained without them being separated. Like there are so many different things that they could have done to still have the exact same ending, which was amazing. And it, I don't know. So I kind of like the idea of whenever people have these badass parents, and because they're their parents, they completely are like, oh, whatever. And they're like, oh, your parents a superhero. Yeah, but whatever. Like they downplay it, you know? Dad's jokes. Yeah. Like I would have been fine with that. Like just the whole Secrets just didn't make sense for the parents. For me, I feel like they just botched that whole
thing. Well, yeah, like we said, it's lazy writing. It's just like Superman and Lois. When they find out their dad's Superman, I would be ecstatic to find out my dad. So all the time you miss all that cool stuff in me, you out saving the world. Yes. Yeah. They were like, ugh. And I'm like, I should have punched you, kid.
But he was excited. Remember, he was excited to know his dad knew Batman, so I was okay with that.
That's true. That's true. But not Damien. He didn't care about Damien.
First, before I get into my thoughts on the show, I want to ask you, because you're both parents. Would you know if your kids were magic? Because I feel like I would know if my kid was magic. Like going back to Moon Girl.
I don't pay enough attention to my kids. I probably would know.
It's like, I don't know.
They'd be like floating shit over my head. I'd be just walking downstairs to start work. I wouldn't know. I fucking know.
100% I would know. I would definitely know. My kids would tell me. I would know.
Well, my kids are magic. They're black girls, so they're magic.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I don't even recognize that.
Actual devil magic, you know. With wands and shit.
Well, now, if it's devil magic. If it's devil magic, I know, because you know how black folks are about that. I be burning sage in here and all types of stuff. But
taking to church every Wednesday, we go to church. Get this magic out here,
right?
I made the mistake, or I guess I did make the mistake. I watched the first episode of My Dad the Bounty Hunter first, and then I watched the first episode of Moon Girl. And I was like, oh, My Dad the Bounty Hunter. This is fun. I like this. This is really cool. This will probably be like one of my good things. Like. And then I watched Moon Girl, and I watched like all the whole entire season in one mic sitting.
Yep.
And then like going back to like My Dad the Bounty Hunter, I was like, it kind of lost some of its luster. It kind of like, man, and now I see, because these kids are bad. And like you had to have figured out that the mom was an alien, because ain't no African American woman would let her kids act like that. And that, I don't care if you're at your daddy's house. I don't care if you're your friend, boo boo fool. I don't care. Y'all ain't acting out that. I don't care where y'all at. Y'all gonna be your best behavior. But there was all sorts of little tiny jokes in here that I just freaking love. Like they're making like references to like obscure ass movies and stuff, and I was just laughing my butt off. And I thought it was funny, even though these kids definitely need a whooping. The dad definitely need a whooping.
Yes.
Like all y'all, where are y'all parents at? Because I need y'all to come over here and do some parenting. But one of the things I really liked about this show was the voice cast in here. Like from immediately, I could recognize the dad as Laz Alonso from The Boys. He's Mother's Milk. I was like, dude, that dude. Like I did not know he was a voice actor. I've not seen him or heard of him. Maybe I'm just missing his CV. But like he could do it. He could be a voice actor like fairly easy. He put a lot of emotion and attenuation in his voice, and I thought he was really, really good. Pariah Ferguson is the one that played Lisa. She is Erica Sinclair from Stranger Things. She's from Atlanta, so like I don't care if the show sucked. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 because she's from Atlanta.
Yeah. Yep, that's the way it works.
We're not biased at all. We're not biased.
Yeah. Completely 100% intellectually honest in this show. They had Jim Rash as the fixer. He was the principal from. I'm not telling you guys to mansplain it to you. I'm telling it to the viewers. You might not know who these people are. He's the
I don't know who these people are. That's fine.
Well, so Logan immediately heard his voice and was like, "Is that Jim Rash?" And I had to look up because I don't know names, so I was just like, "Do." Yep, it's Jim Rash.
Yeah, I heard his voice and I'm like, "That's Jim Rash." And he's the principal from Community. If y'all ever watch Community, he's been in a lot of other stuff. And like,
oh, okay.
I never knew that. Like I recognize his voice, and I'm used to him being like sort of jovial and silly and weird all the time. But like he played the fixer like. That dude was kind of scary, just the way he talked. And it was like, this smarmy, like, corporate dude. And I was like, he did it. I said, Jamie Chung is Vax. Yvette Nicole Brown was Chris. If she's also from Community, if you don't remember who she is, you're racist. She's not Donald Glover. She's the other black person from Community.
Oh,
I'm glad you cleared that up. My racism was seeping through.
I know, all them people look alike, but she's a woman. He's a man. They're two different things.
Yeah.
I mean, like the voice cast is stacked in this, and you can really tell that they had a lot of, at least a lot of fun doing this. But those kids are bad, and a lot of these times, like, if he just explained it to him, because my dad was a bounty hunter. And I found out that she was a freedom fighter or whatever. Well, firstly, my dad would have probably been like, "Oh, the white man is trying to take over over the planet. We got to help him out." But if he had a job to do, he'd be like, "No, we're going to get her ass. We'll get this money, and maybe I'll buy you some shoes." Because look at you. So I need you to put that in the box.
I don't know if citing your dad, Jason, is probably the best example for this.
Yeah.
From the stories you've kind of let me know.
The rails just a little bit.
He's the archetype of.
I love you, Dad, if you're watching this show. But he would have made that money first.
Let's go with Family Matters, Dad. If it was Family Matters, Dad, what would happen?
What would happen? He would think that racism is not a systemic issue because he's a cop, and all cops are bad.
Cop first. He's a cop first.
Oh, he didn't when his boys were profiled in Chicago of all places. He didn't take that to the chief of police and be like, "Why are we profiling young black men?" He went to the cop and said, "You're a bad cop." Like, no, he was a cop. You're a bad cop for talking to another cop about his copping. Get out of here. That's why they made Urkel the fucking star.
The cop went cop on him.
Reginald Van John, your top 5 TV dads. Number 1.
That's a debate we'll have for another show.
Number 1, obviously, top black TV dad is very obviously Piccolo. That's obvious. I don't know.
I am totally down with having this conversation later.
I feel like Piccolo would be considered a mammy if you really want to. Like, he was like a black dude taking care of an Asian baby. That's the housekeeper, bro. That's not like a dad. That's the
Nah,
housekeeper.
because that
That's the
Gohan was
nanny.
his kid, man.
That's the nanny at that point, my man. Like, I don't really know if that's a black
On
dad.
his planet, he was training him. That's his kid.
Yeah,
Goku wasn't
again,
fucking with his kids. He don't even know his name.
Ain't,
Which one is
ain't
he?
no ain't no house ninja calling them white kids as they babies. Like, that's what
Come
Piccolo
over here,
was.
my
I'm sorry.
babies.
Right, I'm sorry. I mean,
either
we
way-
know who number one is, but we can't say who number one is because
No, number
we
one's
know who
Piccolo.
number one is, and number one can't be is he who should not be named anymore.
Correct.
Then
Correct.
Uncle Phil replaces number one. Man.
Yes,
How
Uncle
about
Yeah, I
Phil.
would say Uncle Phil would be my
Uncle
new
Phil
number one.
is
Yes,
the number one TV dad, hands
especially in
down.
the original series when like, why did you leave me, man? Oh man.
Oh,
yeah,
Oh,
no,
God.
because so I know we're completely off the rails now, but since
Yeah, we are.
we're already
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
But-
it's my black.
because
It's my black
so
lads.
Bella started at Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from like the beginning because she never watched it, and I'm
Because
like
she wasn't
rewatching
born
it
when
with
it
her.
came out.
I know,
and it went off
but
air.
there's a few shows that I make them watch, but it's on I think Hulu now. So anyway, so I'm like I'm not watching every episode with her, but I'm watching as I have time watching episodes with her, and that show's so fucking good. And Carl and Uncle Phil is from the very beginning claiming Will
Yeah.
and he's just it's so good. He's just such an amazing. And then like the episode where Will gets a job is literally because Uncle Phil called him one of his kids. And I was just like, I can't handle it. Sorry.
So, no, it's good. It's great.
Cried when that show went off air when they all moved.
Yeah,
in.
it's so good. That
Also,
was just great TV.
Bel-Air season 2 is out. Did not know that. Got to go watch that.
I never watched
Facts.
Bel-Air, so
Dude,
I guess
even though
Love
it's
Bel-Air.
a dramatic retelling of the Freshman story, it has enough of the DNA in there to like it's good. It's good.
I love Bel-Air.
Jabari Banks, he brings like his own swagger to it, but there's enough Will Smithiness in it that you're like that. It's great. Just watch it. It's good.
I think Fresh Prince is also a good example of even if you're not black, that you can still enjoy it. It is like like a very much black TV show about a black family,
especially when Black Aunt Phil is on there.
Yeah, for real. and it's really like they find a good way to be relatable, and they also find that way to not talk at you. Like it still has heavy themes in it, but it's not like throwing it at you. It's just natural. It's great.
Carlton, who grows up in Bel-Air. I mean, and Will, who also grows up in Bel-Air, will get shot.
Yeah.
And Carlton goes gets a gun and goes looking for the dudes because he's crazy.
Carlton a ride or die, bruh. Come on,
Carlton's about that life.
Carlton out here, bro. Thug life, baby.
Jeffrey driving his Billy, go do some drive-bys.
Right? Put a 6-shooter, 38 special. He out here letting them know, Dirty Harry style, baby. Yeah.
Which is funny because Alfonso Rivero is from like Compton, whereas Will Smith is from like a really nice area in West Philadelphia. And it's always funny that they were like, Will Smith's prep school kid, even though Alfonso Rivero is a child actor. Like they were from
but
like,
still
they played opposite of the type. But Carlton in the new show Bel-Air for most of the season is straight villain.
100%.
Straight villain.
Okay.
Like he is the worst, but like that kid who plays him is great. Like, but straight villain. But back to my dad, the bounty hunter.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're at this point of the show where we realize that tells you how we really feel about this cartoon. We're willing to talk about everything else but the cartoon.
Yep.
That's always standard here. When we start going off on tandems that don't matter, it's
my black dad.
Bounty
hunting. That has something to do with Fresh Prince. So let's just go ahead and hit the rating system. Give it about a 1 to 5. Whatever y'all would like to give it. Jason, out of 1 to 5, what would you rate this TV show?
I will give my dad, the Black Bounty Hunter, a 2.5 out of 5. Again, it has some points in there, but just it's so much annoyance to get to the good parts, and that's not a good thing.
Lisa, how about you?
Same 2.5.
I will give it a little bit higher. I would give it a 3. just because I like to be, contrarian. I don't fucking know.
Okay.
I guess we'll review the cleaner next week.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we're gonna do the cleaner next week. Yeah, we got it.
You know what? If we could ever get Sam Jackson on this show, then we'll review the cleaner. How about that? And he'll come on. And
I'm sure Sam Jackson's like, you want to review my 2007 seminal movie, The Cleaner? Oh yeah, I'm doing it.
You never know. Sam Jackson is an amazing human. Maybe someone will pass us on to him. And then
Morehouse Man.
I've seen some of the movies he's made. He coming on our show would not be a downgrade for some of the stuff he's done. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Also, for all of our listeners and viewers and followers, if we reach 5,000 viewers or subscribers on YouTube or on any other one of our platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Tunes, whatever, Jason and I will do hot yogurt with Lisa. I don't want to do that, so please don't make me do that and stop subscribing. No, actually, subscribe so we can do that. Also, if we get to 10,000, we're going to do I'm going to have to agree with Lisa for everything.
Yes. For everything that I say.
She says.
Even if I say The Greatest Showman is the greatest movie ever made, ever, he got to agree with me. He does. That's the deal.
Hopefully she
Make
won't
it
let
happen,
me make
y'all.
me do that because
Make it happen, y'all.
And then if we do 15,000, this probably changes every week. Every time we say this, we'll do a Taylor Swift only episode.
Yes.
Please don't make me do that. And if we get some number over that, then I will allow you, the viewers, as well as my lovely co-hosts to fuck with my dating profiles on the internet.
Yes, please, guys.
I feel like we should just do that anyway.
I know, right? He should just let us do that.
Daily Bumble
10
update.
more subscribers.
Yeah. Daily Bumble update. Just let us know how it's going in these streets.
Yeah.
How many single moms can Jason attract in an hour? 0.